that's what just got blacked out is a picture of a penis. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Hot in Cleveland reminded me of a show from like the 80s or 90s, but I can't remember which one.
Hot in Cleveland should have been called The Betty White Comes In and Delivers Devastating Burns to Middle-Aged Women show.
Hot in Cleveland is going to give us some hot gossip today.
Ooh. Hey, everybody. No promises, though. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Falling Towers. Watch the first podcast, which watch the first episode of a series so that you don't have to enter special effects. Wow, those were awesome. All right. So today we're doing a review of, you guessed it, Hot in Cleveland, the very first episode entitled Pilot.
Pilot. Oh, good. You did watch the right one.
Thank God. June 16th, 2020. With us, as always, basically always, triumphant return, blue shirt, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg.
2020? I thought this was from 2010.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? Did I say 2020?
You said 2020.
Ah, shit. Let's start over. Just kidding. We don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, June 16th, 2010. Sorry about that. Good catch. We're also joined by producer, actor, writer, superstar, brilliant, great smile, Kat Geren, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi.
And I am like one of those things that I said Kat was. My name's Ryan T. Husk. All right.
I wish I were one.
Producer.
I don't really know.
Yeah. All right. So if you'd like us to review a show, please, in the comments below, just type in WTF and the show. So that's WTF Snorks or WTF Gem or WTF
Truly outrageous.
Yeah, True Blood. Okay. So we are celebrating Betty White this month on her 100th birthday month because, hey, she deserves it. And you know what? We're planning on doing it anyway. It just kind of sucks.
Really?
I mean, really? Yeah, of course. For Betty White's 100th birthday, it's like a national holiday.
Yeah.
True.
So
should be.
Now we're not only celebrating her birthday, we're celebrating her life. So let's have some fun. Go.
Good time. Come on.
All right.
Celebration.
And now it's time to work. Okay. We like to start this show off with our favorite game. And by our, I mean mine.
Ryan's favorite game, yeah.
And it is, well, Michael, you can go ahead and tell them.
Well, everybody knows that this first fun game that we like to play is called Predictaments because we put ourselves in a predicament by making our predictions. Predictaments. Delicious.
Right. So the first game is called Predictions. We like to predict what the other person felt about this show. Since we've known each other for a long time, Michael and I, Kat, we've known you for some time now. We know what's going on. Michael, I predict, and everybody at home, make your predictions. Boy, you have not lived until you make a prediction. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, I believe that you liked this show. I thought you thought it was mediocre, and Betty White was great, and you're going to give it favorable marks because of that. Not great, but good ones. Kat, I think with you, it's more of a mixed bag. There were some things you didn't like, as not just didn't like, but actually disliked. But overall, you're okay with it and like it a little bit. And I predict that oh no, Michael, you tell me what you think.
Well, I predict, if I had to make a prediction, and I do, and then that prediction for Ryan would be that Ryan was less than lukewarm on this show until Betty White shows up and like drops her devastating burns on these middle-aged ladies. So and Kat, I actually do think that Kat liked it, like the show. She's a plus on this.
All right. So now my turn.
Yes.
Uh-oh, look out. Here come the devastating burns.
Yeah.
Usually I'm pretty good with predictions. So
very good. You might be our best, actually.
Do I get an award?
We can't afford that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, yes. Brownie points all around.
You should give out awards. That's what you should have done at the year in review.
You are so right. That would have been so fun, right, Michael?
Yeah. Now all we have to do now is just wait a whole other year. So
whole year.
You know what we'll do? That'll be for our 100th episode extravaganza.
Oh, exciting.
That's just in a few weeks.
Exciting. There we go.
Great idea. Great idea, Kat.
Okay, so Ryan, I honestly agree with Michael's assessment that you did not like it until Betty White popped in and started doing her thing. And Ryan, I agree with your assessment of Michael that he was lukewarm, little less than lukewarm.
Owen Wilson warm, yeah.
Okay, Skywalker warm. Okay, so everybody at home, make your predictions now because you've gotten some hints. You don't have to agree with us, but you've gotten some hints. Kat is really good at these. So, cheat off her homework if you need to cheat off anybody. And while you are making your predictions and really trying to get into our psyches, Michael is going to tell us what this show is even about.
3 40-something best friends from Los Angeles are flying to Paris when their plane makes an emergency landing in Cleveland. Realizing that all the norms from Los Angeles don't apply anymore, they decide to celebrate a city that values real women and stay where they're still considered hot. In this episode, they decide to stick around and rent a house from an elderly caretaker. Betty White.
I get it. Hot in Cleveland. Okay, and that makes sense. See, I never read these synopses, but that's in a city that they're hot. They're considered hot in
Cleveland. Yeah.
Right.
In LA, they're like old ladies, but in Cleveland, they are hot commodities.
They're lukewarm in LA.
Yeah, at best.
At best.
Tepid. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody's second favorite game now. We compare and contrast what we expected before we watched this show with what we actually got once we had watched the first episode of this show. And we like to, Mike likes to call them.
Mike loves to call it expectations.
All right.
That's it.
That's the whole thing. So, Michael, before you watched this first episode of Hot in Cleveland entitled Pilot, what did you expect?
I mean, honestly, the only real thing I knew about this show was that Betty White was in it. So that's what I was expecting. I was expecting a show with Betty White. Like I know all these other actors, Valerie Bertinelli, Daphne from Frasier, the lady from Just Shoot Me. That's how I know them. But really, I was expecting Betty White. That's what I expected.
Well, that's also what you got. Is my prediction. Kat,
maybe.
What did you expect before you watched this episode?
Well, I had heard about it, but I had never seen it, and I didn't really know much about it. But I did read the synopsis that Michael just read. So I expected, like an ensemble comedy, multicam comedy type thing about whatever the synopsis was about.
Hot in Cleveland.
Right. Well, that works out very well then. So, boy, I guess that means it's my turn to tell you what I expected. Okay. I didn't expect anything. I had only heard about the show. I didn't know that it was, all about, that it was a cast of 4 women. I knew that Betty White was in it, and that's all I knew. I knew a friend of mine who does a lot of stand-in work, does stand-in for the show. Nice lady. She's got some pictures with Betty White. She says Betty White is wonderful. And that's all I knew. Yep, that's it. But that's what we expected. Mm-hmm. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg. Here comes the evisceration. What did you actually get?
Well, I expected a show with Betty White. What I got, at least in this first episode, is an episode with not enough Betty White. I like the whole first half of the show. I'm like sitting through what are just terrible jokes. These jokes are terrible, not funny jokes. I'm using quotation marks because I didn't think they were funny. But Betty White shows up and she starts dropping these bombs. Like her first line when she walks in, she's like, "Why are you renting to prostitutes?" It's just
Yep, that was
every
the one.
line that Betty White delivers is fire.
All right.
And
well,
I didn't get enough. I didn't get enough of her. I wanted more Betty White.
More on that in a moment. Everybody's like, "What? I got to hear more." Well, you're going to have to be patient. Kat, what did you actually get?
I got a show that was so stale, so bland. The jokes were it was like, we get it. LA's vein, the trope was like trope after trope after trope. And they could have joked about something else. I'm like, well, what are you going to joke about the rest of the series? You already, like, how many jokes about LA can you possibly do? But they did all of them and then some. And then Betty White was like, oh, finally, a comedic relief of some sort.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I got since everybody's dying to know.
Okay, here we go.
I got a show as soon as I put it on. I was like, oh, or I saw like the picture of it. I was like, oh, it's about 4 women. Maybe it's like, like the female Seinfeld, except Seinfeld had a woman. Or I still can't figure out what the show is that it's, I'm trying to think of. But that's
it's a show
cool.
about nothing.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's see what this is. And I was like, oh, it's that girl from Just Shoot Me. Oh, it's Marla the Virgin from Seinfeld. And she was also Daphne on Frasier, but I know her as Marla the Virgin. A contest? Is this what you do with your friends? That lady, right? Pretty sure that was her. And then, of course, I knew Betty White was going to show up. I don't know who this no-name lady was in the middle, though. Michael, you know.
What? Yeah, that's Valerie Van Halen, Bertinelli.
From what?
She was like on One Day at a Time back in like the 80s.
Never heard of it.
And she married Eddie Van Halen and then divorced him, or like he divorced her. I don't know what happened, but they had a child together. But yeah, she was like an 80s star, and
okay,
I think she's done some stuff since then. But that was like her big breakout thing, was One Day at a Time.
Okay, so that works because then it's kind of like they're also kind of being themselves in a way because they were in shows 20 years ago or whatever. Anyway, or I guess 10 years ago at the time. Anyway, so what I got was, I got a show that, boy, at first, boy.
Boy.
I don't know if this is going to spoil. Let's just say I got a mixed bag. Okay, let's get into it. So the main thing is, as soon as it started, I was like, oh, these jokes. Am I going to watch a show? And is this going to be another show where the jokes, a funny show that's not funny?
Yes.
And then the jokes got better. Some of them were better, like 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4. There were some good ones. Were the jokes that funny, or were they delivered well by the old timer here, the Just Shoot Me lady? She was pretty good. I don't remember liking her character in Just Shoot Me, but her delivery made the jokes better a couple times. And I was not, maybe it's because they set these low expectations for me that when something was kind of funny, I was like, oh, I better take a note of that. That was enjoyable. I don't know. I thought the humor got better, but the humor was not the strong suit for me. The strong suit actually was, I thought that the premise was really smart. It was a really good, smart premise for how
poorly
they got
executed.
Yeah.
Yes,
I thought the premise was good.
I agree. I thought the premise was really cute. I thought that was something, I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like something I would watch. That sounds adorable. but yeah, like the execution was just like, oh, like I didn't really like these women that much. They didn't give me a chance to really like them. And yeah, I was disappointed.
Well, I'll take the side of the devil right now, and I'll say
Right
that I
now, or
thought
through this entire episode?
I mean, it sounds like we're kind of on the same page with how we felt about the humor and stuff like that. But I thought that I mean, maybe it's because I'm looking at it through the lens of 2022. But I thought the premise was stupid. I thought I was like, oh, okay, this is dumb. Like, okay, let's make fun of middle-aged ladies. Oh, okay, like, this is so fresh. Like, let's make fun of middle-aged ladies. Nobody's ever done that before. I think this has been going on for years, and I don't think that it's a fresh take on anything.
12 years, Michael. This was 2010.
More than that, yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and that's kind of how I felt. I was like, how is this humor feels so dated? And then I looked at the date, and I was like, 2010. It feels it's humor of the 90s. This is 90s humor is what I'm watching in a 2010 show. And then I started thinking, maybe this is a show for middle America. Maybe it takes place in Cleveland, not because we're supposed to so much follow like the women as much, but it's supposed to be for like middle America to be like, see how cool it is over here, you guys in your fancy
dumb
cars,
LA people are,
and how weird. But down here, it's more down to earth. If you guys just came here, you would like us, you'd understand us more. And maybe that's kind of what their target audience is. I don't know. What do you?
I can see that. I can buy that.
Yeah,
I'll pay 2 cents for that.
But then also in the way of portraying that, it's almost like, if you think of it that way, you're like, well, isn't that almost a little condescending? Because it's like, well, the people in Cleveland are like, eat a ton because they don't care about how they look, and they're boring and they're not cultured. And so I almost felt like it was kind of like, is it a compliment, really?
I think so. And I'll tell you why. Because we like to be razzed, right? We like, like if for example, who's I can't think of him right now, that stand-up comedian Indian guy that just always talks about racist stereotypes or whatever. What's his name? Russell Peters. No, Russell Peters.
Russell Peters.
Hilarious, right? He starts razzing people, and you're like, do the French now. Do mean everybody's like, oh man, I can't wait till he does my group. And that's kind of how we feel, I think, sometimes. So probably people in Cleveland want this because, it's kind of like, yeah, do us now, like make fun of us. Yeah, chili fries. Oh, you're eating light. It's kind of like that, unless they hit something that's really rude. If it's just a little light jabbing, I think they enjoy it.
Devil here again.
All right. Hey, Devil, go ahead.
I think, it's, to me, it reads a lot more like this is LA's take on what Cleveland is like, not like Cleveland people making fun of Cleveland. It's more like, oh, this is what LA thinks that Cleveland is like.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, oh, they're all plumbers, and and being a plumber is actually not a bad job. They make a lot of money.
Good money, yeah.
Yeah.
You could buy a 7,000 foot square house and a boat
in Cleveland.
So I do wonder, though, if the target audience was middle America. I bet it was.
I'll say this. There was another show set in Cleveland that was made by Clevelanders. And the theme song was Cleveland Rocks, the Drew Carey show.
That's what I thought.
And that was a great show. That was a good show.
An awesome show. Yeah.
And that was about working class Americans. And, that was a really well done show, where this show, I'm not sorry to say it. It's a terrible show. Bad, terrible show.
Well, I know
until Betty White shows up.
I know somebody who hates Cleveland, though. Jim Marley.
I was gonna say, are you gonna out them right now?
Yeah, he's very proud of it. I've never seen Cleveland before, but I'm scared to go because of all the horrible things he said about it. Anyway, sorry, what were you saying, Kat?
I was just gonna say, kind of like what Michael was saying. It just felt like LA people like looking down on Cleveland. Like, that's what I got. And I was like, isn't that, that made me not like the characters, and maybe it would blossom, and throughout the season. But yeah, I was like, these ladies are kind of unlikable, and the humor is awful, like just awful.
We cannot say enough bad things about this show.
All right. Well, you know what then? I'm going to play devil's advocate to you both.
Oh,
and I'm going to point out
all right.
some parts that were actually funny. Of course,
Betty
when
White.
Betty White walked in and said, you're renting to prostitutes, that was very funny because it's mean, and mean stuff is funny, especially when it's said by an old lady. Okay. Here's some comedy that did make me laugh. When the dude says to, I don't know, one of the ladies, I think it was the lady that I don't know, he says, "You remind me of that pretty actress. I don't remember her name." And she says, "It doesn't matter." I thought that was clever, because basically she's like, I don't give a shit what pretty actress. You're comparing me to a pretty actress. That's cool. That's funny. That worked for
Stupid.
me. That was funny, and it.
Okay. That was
when,
okay.
When Betty White gives herself a boob fluff, that was funny. But
That
I don't know if
was
that was
funny,
in the
correct.
script or if that was just
I
Betty.
didn't catch that. What did she do?
She said you got to keep the shells in order. That
Yeah.
La, 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 la.
She's talking about like when your husband dies, you die, and then she's like, but you're not dead. She's like, well, you got to maintain the shell, and she like kind of like adjusts herself. That was
That's cute.
I mean, that was just pure physical comedy right there too. That was a brilliant
that
move.
May have been just Betty. Yes,
a choice probably made by Betty White.
Right.
That
because I can't
vastly
imagine
improved.
Can't imagine somebody telling her, and then can you just like smear your boob around your 88-year-old boob? Yeah, like no, like this. Yeah, like that.
Man, she was only like 76 back then.
Nah,
or 78.
No,
Oh yeah,
she
you
was
guess you're right.
88.
Yeah, 88. Yeah.
So, and more on that later. But another funny part was when the boat guy was like, "Hey, these sophisticated, beautiful ladies," and Victoria's like, "Ooh," and then he says, and then he's like, she says, "Oh, get out of here." I don't remember what it was. But then she says, "Well, for sophisticated ladies, maybe we shouldn't have burst in like that." And that's funny. We get the kind of character she is, and she delivered it well, I thought. Yes, it's on the nose. Yes, we've seen it a million times before, but we've seen it a million times before because it's funny. And it was okay. Look, I'm telling you, in the first couple minutes, I expected to not like it. I was like, oh God, this is going to be something I'm going to poop on the whole way. But it was okay. It was okay, mostly because the premise was a very good premise. Now the humor needs a little work, but that's okay. They have good actors. Improve the writing.
Yeah, I thought it was like they set it up like this could be really cute. The actors are great. Like, why didn't it work? Like, it just, for me, I was like, come on, I want this to be funny. I want this to be cute. I want to like this. Oh,
see, I wanted to not like it. And I couldn't quite get there.
And I was right in the middle, and I hated it. Yeah, but it's, to me, like we know who these characters are. We know, they play the character, these types of characters well. But I feel like I've seen all these characters a million times before, yes. and then they just take them and like triple them, and so now we've got 3 of them that we have to watch.
But that's a good thing, because this is about middle-aged women exchanging war stories. It's not like the middle-aged woman is a character in a show. That's what the show is about, is middle-aged women, is what I think. And now let's just go ahead and talk about what we want to talk about, which is Betty White, right? I mean, come on, enough with this. Betty White. So what I was thinking this morning when I watched this show, and you guys tell me your thoughts, and I think we'll probably be close to on the same page, was that, look, we all love Betty White. And if you don't, get a hold of yourself.
Yeah. Get a brain, dummy.
Yeah, but it's like, I kind of expected, okay, 88-year-old Betty White, we're going to like her because she's cute and we love her and we're rooting for her. And yay, more Betty White. But at 88 years old, she not only was still able to act and be spry and be good, but she understood exactly how she was supposed to deliver the lines, not just to be funny as a comedian, you know, somebody delivering a line funny, that's what they do for a living, but she knew how to deliver these lines in relation to how they affect the scene, which means at 88 years old, she needs to understand everything that's going on in the scene and her role within that scene. Like, is she delivering bad news? Is she delivering weird news? Is she delivering a twist? You know, and that's what I was most impressed with, was kind of her role in the scene and her very clear understanding of it. And I was like, if I'm 88 years old and even know what I'm doing with my pants, I'll be happy. But this lady had all of her mental faculties, and I was very impressed and very happy to see that.
Yeah, and I thought she was the only one.
Thank you. Good night,
Well, not
everybody.
only that, so here's the other thing, is that there's the juxtaposition between the terrible jokes that everyone else is telling and the bangers that Betty White is just throwing out there. And like you mentioned, her delivery is genius. And so you've got this whole show, you watch the first half and you're like, okay, these jokes are terrible. Not one of these jokes made me laugh. At least that's what I thought. And then Betty White comes in and she's just like, bang, 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 bang. And then you're like, oh, thank goodness. And then there's a scene without Betty White. And you're like, what are you doing? You had it. You nailed it. You figured it out. And then Betty White comes back and you're like, oh, okay. Actually, I was reading, I think I read somewhere on IMDb that actually Betty White was not slated to be a main cast member. Like, I think that they were like planning on having her just be like a cameo. She's 88 years old.
Yeah, right.
But she was so good that they just said, let's keep her. And like they kept her in the show.
They said, please.
I wonder if they kind of pitched it or looked at it almost like, hey, it's kind of a slightly younger version of the Golden Girls, where you get to be the crotchety old lady that that makes the big hits, like Sophia did in the Golden Girls. It's similar to that. But that's interesting. I didn't realize that it seemed like they kind of. I mean, you got to have a
truth
fourth
to it,
character.
but I read it on IMDb, so you assume that they know what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they needed her.
Yeah, but they couldn't have introduced her sooner, you know, because that's we want her sooner in there, but you can't really do it. And of course, through the whole episode, we're wondering, how is she going to pop in? But we knew she was going to be a Clevelandite. We knew that they were going to find her there. Yeah. And it set up a good story in which these ladies are kind of going through a midlife crisis and how their characters are going to develop. But it also set up, importantly, how it's going to affect Betty White's character. They're also basically saying, hey, old timer, you can teach us stuff, but we're also going to teach you how to live a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you haven't had a boyfriend in 60 years or whatever it's been. Come on to the bar and have some chili fries with us. And you can picture her maybe getting a boyfriend later on and doing all these little things here and there. So I don't know. I thought they just need to work on the jokes, but I was surprised that the storyline, the premise, was something that could have a lot of heart. Could be something where people can actually care about the characters. You know, not the strongest pilot episode, but hopefully it'll work out.
And I'm trashing this show based on this first episode, but
thank goodness
this show went 6 seasons.
I know, I was like, oh my God, I looked at how many episodes. So obviously there is something there, and maybe it gets better.
It's one of those shows where people are like, look, just get through the first 6 seasons and then you'll love it.
It also might have been partly because, hey, 2010, it wasn't so long ago, but there weren't that many shows with 4 female leads as well. Right. You know, like, not necessarily trailblazing because it's been done plenty of times before, but also still pretty rare. And so maybe it hits, a target audience. Maybe it's looking for middle-aged, middle America women,
Yeah.
To where
and streaming wasn't as big either. So
exactly. Right. So shows could last longer and not be very good.
Yeah.
That's how we got Gems.
I think back to 2010, you still had to mail in your Netflix DVDs, right?
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, like, I think it would have been cuter to me. I mean, I don't know, maybe it gets better, but I think it would have been cuter for me personally if it was just the main character, that it was one LA person that went to Cleveland. Like, it was just too much. It was too much LA, trope.
Interesting. Yeah.
And I think it would have resonated better because it was like almost like, ugh, like it was just like cringy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because
we hate LA.
That's kind of the standard, I think, way that they do it. The fish out of water thing. The person moves to this place and we follow their story. So that's tried and true for a reason. Clearly that works. So maybe they were trying to break the mold. Maybe they're trying to do something new. But you're saying like, yeah, but that other way is tried and true for a reason.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
Now we have is 3 fish out of 3 waters.
And I didn't believe that the 2 supporting women really needed to go to Cleveland. I believe Valerie Bertinelli, that's her name, right? I believe that she needed to get away, but her friends were kind of like, well, I mean, I guess, I could just see her going, and I think it would have been more enjoyable.
They kind of explained it where like the actress, she's like, she doesn't want to play a grandma. And then the other lady, she said like Oprah was like her big client that was like, I could say that Oprah was my client. That was a terrible British accent and terrible woman accent also.
That was a woman.
Female. Female woman.
I thought you were doing the Geico gecko.
Oh my gecko. No, that's like an Australian or something.
He's Cockney.
But yeah, it's like they kind of had a reason to like stick around Cleveland for a little while. I mean, maybe later on in the series we'll find out why they stay in Cleveland, but they're like, you know what, we don't need to go to Paris. I don't want to play grandma, and I gotta like I lost Oprah as a client, so we'll stick around for a week or whatever they said, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Just didn't realize that Daphne from Frasier's even taller than that Just Shoot Me lady. I always thought that Just Shoot Me lady was super tall. I think my friend probably does stand in for the Just Shoot Me lady, if I had to guess. Her name's Kyle Humphrey, and she's kind of thin and tall. But anyway, shout out to Kyle Humphrey, everybody. Okay. Well, yeah, we love her. Great lady. Very nice. Well, this is the time of day. Michael knows where we're going with this. It is time for who was your favorite character besides Betty White? Because that's too easy. No easy questions here.
My favorite character besides Betty White was still Betty White, if you can believe that.
Betty White's hair.
Betty White's physical comedy.
My favorite character was the plumber.
But we didn't even get to see his crack.
That's the real cleavage land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really. Yeah.
You painted yourself into a corner.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. But that's just because we always ask that. Because it's but the other 3 are pretty much like all kind of very similar types. Yeah. I mean, the one that delivered the lines the best of the 3 other ladies was the Just Shoot Me lady. Although she's been playing that character forever, that's the same character she always plays. But obviously she's doing something right. She understands comedy and she knows how to deliver things, because there were some things I thought she delivered well, and I thought that she was good. And I did not expect to like her because I didn't really care for the character in Just Shoot Me. I was always like, oh God, it's not. I kept thinking like, quit trying to make her funny. She's not. But maybe I just got older. Kind of like with Golden Girls, I always thought that when I was a kid, I thought Dorothy was the boring one. Upon rewatching as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, she's a comic genius. When I was 7, I just didn't understand. She's funny as shit. So maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think is funny? Funnier, sorry, B. Arthur or this lady? Never mind. What were you going to say, Kat?
I would just like to express one more thing.
Okay.
In that, I also didn't like how they portrayed women as like these, like, oh my God, we're so insecure and we need men and we're so insecure about our bodies, and like I just didn't. Maybe that's what really got to me, because I'm like, LA women are so much more than this trope of this
Right.
vain, you know, like ideal. And
Just
yeah,
ask Jim Morrison, LA woman.
exactly. And maybe it's because it was 10, you know, over 10 years ago in the writing and whatever in the time period, but it was like, you know, they just didn't seem strong. Like they didn't seem like strong, independent, powerful women.
Well, to play devil's advocate and kind of Ryan's advocate also on this one, because Ryan's the devil.
I'm not the
on this
devil.
one.
I
But
quit that stuff a long time ago.
no, but if this is marketed towards middle America, that's probably why they made the women less powerful, is because the, you know, like middle America. I mean, just this is just my kind of biases
Interesting.
against middle America, I guess, is like that's kind of what how they perceive women is my if I'm guessing.
So here's an
Back in
interesting thought.
12 years ago.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I was saying, you know, Kat, like how you're saying, that's kind of what made it feel so dated was, again, it felt like it was being delivered like an 80s or 90s show. But I'm
Mhm.
like, have we changed that much in the last 12 years? I guess we have. Things are accelerating, but it does kind of bring up some interesting things about like, well, if we think that they may not be, you know, funny or portraying women in a positive light, and it's an all women cast and supposedly aimed
Except
at
for
women.
Betty White.
She's not a woman. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean, I think that she was portrayed positively. They just weren't portraying the LA women positively.
Right. Well, she wasn't even portrayed positively in some ways. Like she was, you know, kind of 50-50. But I guess the point is, it, you know, like you guys said, it lasted 6 seasons and a lot of people really liked it. So the question is, did it get better, or is there a target audience that's just saying, you guys just don't get it? You guys wouldn't understand. You are LA people. You don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm out here in Boise and I love it. You know, so maybe
Or
there's
is it
something
that
there.
maybe because there was less stuff on TV 12 years ago, and we didn't have all these streaming platforms, so people were more limited on what you want to watch a half-hour comedy that you only can go to the networks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So this is it. So that's what's so interesting about this, and this is what I want people to tell us in the comments below. And we're not just saying that because we want
And
you
the
to
live
comment.
chat.
Right. I'm actually very curious about this. Why, you know, either tell us why you know it lasted 6 seasons or just a hypothesis, but we'd like to know if it's kind of, you know, varying degrees of mediocre or bad in some ways, according to these two. I'm not negative on it.
You loved it. You're gonna
Why-
watch the third, huh?
Yeah. Why do you guys think,
Because you already watched the second.
or people that have watched multiple episodes or the entire series, why? What do you like about it? You know, does it get better? Do you like the characters? Is it funny? Is it just comfort food, easy to watch? Are we crazy? Do we just not understand? Are you out in Indiana? What's the story with this thing? Where's the disconnect? Because clearly there's something going on here, you know, where this show could be pretty popular. A lot of people really like it. So what's the deal? I'd love to know.
I would too. I'm very curious.
I could care less, but you could tell me anyway.
Well, luckily, Kat's the only one that matters here. And if she wants the comments, then we're going to get them. Okay. So since you guys want to trash the show so bad, what was your least favorite part of the show?
Ugh. I think for me, it was the whole like she got suckered into sleeping with a married guy thing.
Mhm.
Like that was just like, okay, so not only are they terrible LA people, but they're also idiots, and not funny, but they're also idiots. And like she's like just ends up sleeping with this married guy. Like, first of all, like if he's pretending like, I didn't mean to meet this beautiful
Yeah.
woman and these sophisticated women, then okay, then he must have been wearing his wedding ring when he was at the bar, and so she didn't see his wedding ring, or he just took it off right away, or you know, like
that's even worse.
that doesn't add up to me. That's bullshit. So
Yeah, I thought he was going to say that she died or that they recently broke up or something like that to make him a more likable character. But instead, he was
Right?
just kind of like, I suck, but sorry.
Yeah, you're so beautiful and sophisticated.
You're just so beautiful.
That's all women want. If you do something wrong and you're a horrible person, just give them a compliment. That works every time.
You're so sophisticated. Oh, you and your friends are so sophisticated. Oh, so much.
Oh my God.
Kat's laughter tells us that's either spot on or really far off.
Both.
Kind of both. All right. Well, speaking of extremely sophisticated, I think you know where we're going with this. Kat, it's time to talk about you, the model of sophistication.
Oh, me?
I know. Who knew? Thank you again for joining us. We love having you. You're amazing. You're awesome. You laugh at all of Mike's dumb jokes. You laugh at about a third of my dumb jokes, and that's good enough.
Yeah. That's actually more than average.
It is. 0 is the average. What's new with you? How you been? How was your holidays? And have you gotten any good work recently? I know it's been tough lately.
My holidays were good. Very, very chill with family and friends. And I've been working hard on my pilot. We are deep into editing, which is very excited. We just watched the first full cut of the full pilot.
Wow.
And what's it called? The show?
Elisa's almost
Elisa's
30.
almost 30, Ryan.
Right. Well, the people watching don't know this.
Well,
Well,
I
hopefully they do.
updated our we have an Instagram at Elisa's almost 30. So
Right.
we'll put it in the
So
description.
is this like a polished cut or like a rough cut still, or?
It's still a rough cut. We still got to score it and color correct it, and we have an A-list actor in talks to film the very last scene.
What?
Who's going to play?
Who
my
is it?
I can't say yet because we're still in contract negotiations, but it's going to be very exciting. Very, very exciting. And I promise that it is funnier than this show.
Whoa. Whoa.
A bold statement. Not that bold.
So very exciting. Very, very exciting. We're going to submit to some big film festivals and set up some meetings and yeah, hope to sell it this year.
That's how you do that.
Very excited. And yeah, I posted a bunch of behind the scenes photos of the cast and the crew. So please follow us on Instagram.
So you
find
posted
all that
those
stuff in the links below, fam.
and you posted all that in the Instagram. You don't have any other social media for the show as of yet, correct?
Right. What other social media is there?
LinkedIn, obviously.
Well, there's that one that's supposedly like a duplicate of MySpace. I always forget what it's called, but
Face space.
no, it's like
My
It's-
face.
it's really interesting. So interesting. that I forgot.
Mike's face.
So, Kat, and then did you say exactly when people can expect this first episode to be completed, or if it's going to be public, or you're just going to try to sell it and hide it from the public?
We might try and sell it and hide it from the public. Unfortunately, depends. It really depends on who we sell it to and what they want.
Right.
I mean, very honestly, the scenario that I envision is someone wants to buy it, and then we're gonna have to reshoot the pilot anyways. So,
And then
but
that'll just be a DVD extra.
exactly. I would like it to premiere at a big film festival like South by Southwest or Sundance or something like that. So I would like that, but I don't. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to give
We're gonna have to.
Maybe I could do some sort of things. I would love to have a watch the first of it.
Oh boy. But you
But
never
then
know.
you
Mike
need to
likes
make it
to
public,
eviscerate things.
You need to make it public so that people can watch it.
Well,
I
just for
know.
us. We get exclusives,
Yeah.
FYI.
I mean, we'll watch it, but I mean, we can't review it unless people can watch it too.
And
I
watch
know.
this. This is also the important thing. Check this out. It's called Space Hay. And it's basically a duplicate of MySpace. Look at Big Dick. What the heck? Whoa,
Ryan.
What is this?
We're gonna have to cut that whole thing. I was just gonna put a black screen over that.
I didn't even.
Ryan, stop doing that.
I just.
Stop it.
I just Googled.
By the way,
MySpace.
Ryan is showing us pictures of penises. And that's what just got blacked out is a picture of a penis. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Thanks a lot for trying to ruin our show.
That and those porn cartoon pictures you showed on the
Ryan, you have problems, dude. You put
The
your
worst-
safe search on.
The worst part was that when I'm showing it, I'm like, oh, this guy's got a really funny name. And I zoom in on it and then I see the picture too. I wish I'd seen the picture before the name so I'd know not to zoom in on it.
You should know better than to zoom in on anything on the internet.
But it's like, how is that? Okay.
All right, let's get back to Kat, please,
Yeah,
Ryan.
sorry. I'm telling you, it's just this. I don't know why
Ryan's
they
just
allow that
obsessed
on
with
this new
penises.
social media thing. All I did was Google MySpace duplicate because that's what it is. And then anyway,
Cats.
It doesn't
What else are you
seem
working
very-
on?
not
Very
supposed to be a
popular.
porno. It's not supposed to be a porn thing. It's just, I don't know how any new social media thing would allow that, but apparently, and put it on their front page, by the way.
Right.
Anyway,
Oh my
Very
god,
disappointed in you, Ryan.
my stomach hurts from
Kat, were
laughing.
you ever on MySpace? Is where we're going with that?
Yeah, I had like my top 9. I had the music playing. I mean, it was a show. It was it was cool. Mine was very cool. What about you guys?
Mine was not cool. It was there. I had one, but it wasn't cool for sure. Fallingtower had a MySpace page.
Really?
Yep.
You still have
Heck.
it?
Yep.
Can we
I don't even know. It's
Yep.
probably up there. The
Check it
world
out.
somewhere.
And I am not going to look before I share the screen right now. So let's just see what happens. Yeah, see, that's us.
Ryan, stop. Oh, there
This
we
is
are.
My Falling Tower
Oh.
MySpace right here.
How cute is this?
Remember that was this kid,
Ugly
baby just
baby.
happened to look like the ugly baby that we used for our Falling Towers. That's
Yeah,
when I
and the
flipped my
caption is
car.
"Babies hate Fallingtower."
Yeah. That was
There's
the
the
tarot
tarot
card.
card where we got the name, the Falling
That was
Tower.
for our second album there. This is us being
Wow.
nerds.
Look at
Anyway.
this.
Looks like most of the pictures got taken
cool.
down.
Yeah, looks like it.
Anyway,
How
See,
cool.
it's
Love
fine to just Google stuff at random on the internet
No,
and share
not.
it. It's fine. Anyway, so let's move forward, you guys. All the way
to
to the
year
year
2000.
2022. Here we go. It is time for, and people check out all of Kat's goodies in the description box below. Click on those links, follow, and say nice things. Here we go. Time for the terrible twos.
And now it's time for the bottom line. Ryan loves to not make a clean transition, so it's difficult for me to cut it out. So
Apparently nothing I do is
Cut
clean anymore.
out. Nope.
Anyway, it's the final 2 questions of the show, the 2 most important questions, and they go a little something like this in order. Question number 1, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg. This is going to be a toughie. What would you give on a scale of 1 to 10 to this first episode of Hot in Cleveland, episode number 1, entitled Pilot?
So if I'm going to go from 1 to 10, initially I would have given it a 1.
Wow.
But then Betty White shows up and her performance is a 10. So it's got to be an even 5. Straight down the middle.
Wow.
Mhm.
Based only on the performance of Betty White, brought up from a 1.
All right. Kat, what about you? Your thoughts? Scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this first episode?
Without Betty White, a 2. with Betty White, a 4.2.
Ah,
That averages out to be a 3.1. But you give whatever you want. That was just an average.
well, it does have Betty White, so
Yeah, I say 4.2.
4.2.
No, 3.8. 3.8.
3.8. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I liked it. I can't use the word like. I didn't dislike it as
did
I
not
expected to.
dislike
Well,
it
I
as
expected
much.
to dislike it. I expected to not care about the characters or find any of it funny. And it was okay. It moved forward, past that. And again, the humor was dated, but I was very happy with the premise. And I thought it was a very good show premise. And so if they iron out the kinks, which, I mean, let's be honest, first episode of a comedy, sometimes it takes 2 seasons for a comedy to be good. Some of the best ones like Cheers or Seinfeld took a couple seasons before they got good, but that's no excuse for a first season. Basically, yes, I was very impressed with Betty White, not just with how funny she was, but just how very smart and alert she was and good
Right.
acting she was for 88. I'm giving it a 7.3.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
it's a 7.3 from me because of the premise. The humor needs to get better, but I was fine with it. The humor was dated, and there are a couple things where I'm like, this shit would have gotten canceled in 2022. There are a
Yeah, but
couple
the Golden
jokes.
Girls humor is dated too, but it's still funny.
I mean, dated in a more offensive way. There are a couple jokes in there that I was like, ooh, that shit would not fly. I'm like, this was only 12 years ago. That would not fly right now. Maybe in middle America, they're like, calm down. It's funny. But, anyway, it was dated, but I think it's fine as far as the premise and as far as the acting and as far as the delivery were concerned. So 7.2 for me. But the real question is, for the purposes of this podcast, we all had to watch the first episode of Hot in Cleveland. But now that the podcast is over and you're free to move about the internet, Michael Kenyon Rosenberg, would you watch the second episode?
There is not a snowball's chance in hell.
So it doesn't have that chance. So what chance does it have?
0 chance. As it has about as much as a chance as a snowball has in hell. And I'm not talking about the lowest level of hell where Satan is stuck in a frozen lake. I'm talking about the top levels of hell where it's all fire and brimstone.
Michael is all fire and brimstone today. Kat, your
Kat likes
sunshine
it.
and roses. Would you watch the second?
Niet.
Yet she would not.
Yeah.
No.
Ryan knows a little Russian and he knows what that means.
I know little Russians, big Russians. No chance. Not even close.
No.
Not even close.
She gave it a 3.8, Ryan. At least I give it a 5. And
She
I
almost gave it a
second.
4.2, which Josh will
Yeah.
tell you if you give it a 4, you don't like it, but a 4.2, yes.
No.
All right. Anyway, a spoiler. I would watch the second episode. Just kidding. Come on. I would not watch.
I know
the second
Curtis, man.
I know. So, and everybody that wants to know, why do they always say, I know Curtis? It's from Cheech and Chong, by the way. Check out, if you like a Cheech and Chong, he goes, yeah, I know Curtis, man. Great inside joke. Great stuff. Anyway.
Now it's not an inside joke. Everybody knows it now because you just ruined it.
They won't understand when it applies and what it necessarily means unless they've seen the show. Anyway, no, I would not, but I am extremely curious about the people that have watched a lot of it and do like it or have watched all the seasons. What's the deal? Does it just get better? Is it just for a different demographic? Is it for middle America, for older people?
Was there just nothing else on TV?
Mm-hmm. It's very curious, very interesting. Anyway, it's 3 no's. We got to move on. But please, if you'd like us to review a show, in the comments below, just tell us WTF Wings or WTF Golden State Warriors basketball,
No.
or WTF WWF SmackDown.
I am not going to watch like a 2-hour basketball game or 3-hour, however long they are.
The first basketball game ever televised, though.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. How long was that?
2.5 hours.
No, I'm not going to watch that.
So anyway, just say
I'd
WTF
rather watch
and
the
whatever
Beatles get
show.
back.
Yeah, whatever show you want us to watch in the comments below, and we will probably do it.
Maybe.
Anyway, until next time, thank you very much for joining us. Kat, you are amazing. Check out her goodies in the description box below. And remember what Mr. Michael Kenyon Rosenberg always likes to say as soon as I'm done saying to like and subscribe and comment below.
Don't forget to register to be an organ donor with donatelife.com or net or org. I forget what it is, but just type in Donate Life and then go there and enter your information to register to be an organ donor. And after you do that, but only after, then don't forget to watch the first of things.